Thank you for staying tuned to Sunrise at Sea right here on CTV, and welcome back from that short break. My name is Apollo Sarah, and we continue the conversation right here on the Twitter Jabs too, and this is about the Vinci coffee deal. Today the big question is, even though no laws were offended or were broken during this contract, the question is it still in favor of the people of Uganda? And with me in studio today is Mr. Robert Byaruhanga, and he's the MD, Managing Director of Funzo Coffee, and he's the Treasurer of the Uganda Coffee Federation. Good morning, Mr. Byaruhanga. Thank you for joining me on the Twitter Jabs.
Morning, Apple.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
All right, so let's get into it. But before we do, I'd like you to please state to the viewer or tell the viewer what the Uganda Coffee Federation's mandate is. What do you do? I would like to know.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers. The Uganda Coffee Federation is a private sector organization.
Yes.
It is a membership organization. It is voluntary.
All right.
But most exporters belong to this, coffee exporters in Uganda,
Okay.
as well as farmer organizations like No Cafe,
Okay.
roasters, traders, dealers, and cooperatives.
Yes.
So at the Federation, we represent most of the participants, all the participants in the coffee value chain.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So for my first question, as a stakeholder in Uganda's coffee business, what do you think about, what are your thoughts on this deal that government signed with the Uganda Vinci Coffee Company Limited? As the Federation and as an exporter myself, yes,
we welcome the attempt to bring in an investor.
All right. An attempt?
Yes,
okay.
To bring in an investor in the sector.
Yes.
The promise of the MOU is that the Uganda Vinci Coffee Company will bring in about $80 million.
Okay.
This is a significant amount of money.
All right.
Entering into our economy.
All right.
And we welcome that,
okay.
100%, and we support efforts by the government and especially by the Uganda Investment Authority to attract these investors. It's never easy to bring in this kind of money.
Yes.
Now, how we go about this, especially with the coffee sector,
yes,
is very important. It's very important. Why is it important? Because there has already been a lot of efforts to streamline and get the coffee sector working.
Yes.
Working for Uganda, the country, and working for them, for the ordinary person.
Yes.
These efforts started, I think, way back in 1990, when the industry was opened up. Prior to 1990, we had Coffee Marketing Board,
yes,
which was a government-owned monopoly.
Yes.
It was the only entity mandated to export coffee out of this country.
All right.
1990, the monopoly was broken,
all right,
and the industry opened up.
Okay.
Now, since then, we have made a lot of gains.
Okay.
One of the gains that is definitely self-evident is the volume of coffee that Uganda is exporting today vis-a-vis when the market was opened up.
Yes. How much coffee is Uganda exporting today?
The last report showed us about 6.5 million bags, but we think by the end of this coming year, we will have hit 7 million bags.
Oh, wow.
That is about 420,000 tons
okay.
of coffee a year.
All right.
And that makes us the top exporter of coffee out of Africa.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So those gains are the gains we must protect.
Yes.
They have come out of a lot of efforts, both by the private sector and by the government. And so, yeah, so the Vinci Coffee contract, while we welcome the efforts to bring in investors,
the efforts,
yes,
as you said, yes,
we also want to protect the gains already made
all right.
in this sector.
All right.
Yes.
So you say you want to protect the gains already made in the sector. Do you have any concerns that there's some challenges that will be faced with this deal in place?
Huge concerns about, I printed this
all right.
little paper, yes, just to be sure that
you get
I do not misquote anything.
Exactly, yes.
So we have we have this clause,
yes,
4.2, clause 4.2 in the MOU. It reads that the government of Uganda undertakes that it will take all reasonable measures to give priority of supply to the company before registering any contract or acknowledging any arrangement for the export of coffee beans, including screen 18 and above.
Yes.
Now, this clause effectively means that we as exporters right now engaged in the value chain,
Yes.
will not be able to export until the Vinci Coffee Company has fulfilled its obligations or got what it needs.
Okay.
Are we together?
Yes.
So you have to read that clause together with the Coffee Regulations 1994, which guide the industry today.
Yes.
It's supposed to be changed a bit because we had a new law.
Yes.
But right now, as we are, we work under the Coffee Regulations.
Okay.
So if you read this clause together with the regulations, then you realize
What does the regulation say in regard to that clause? In the
again, I will quote. This is under Section 10
Yes.
of the Coffee Regulations. It reads, "No person shall export coffee except under a certificate of registration issued by the authority."
Yes.
The authority is the UCDA.
Yes.
So if you read here in the other clause of 4.2, saying priority will be given to the Vinci Coffee Company,
Yes.
and then you read the regulations, you realize, oh, I can't export anymore until I have, until Vinci has what they want.
What they want.
Yes.
And that's very unfair.
So that effectively ring fences exports
Yes.
and focuses it on one company. By ring fencing on the export side, of course, you can't buy if you are not able to export.
That's true.
Yes.
Oh,
So
Lord.
it creates a monopoly in an indirect way.
Yes, it
The
does.
same one we had with CMB, except CMB used to belong to government.
Yes.
This one is now a private entity.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, the permanent secretary, that's for Ministry of Finance, that is Ramadan Gobi.
Yes.
He did say that a monopoly is not going to be created because Uganda Vinci Company Limited is only going to be taking up about 6.4%. But you're saying that creates a monopoly. He, on the other hand, saying that it's not. So which is which?
He is right, because that is what the MOU says.
Yes.
It says that the Vinci Coffee Company will start off with 27,000 tons, and maximum capacity will be around 60,000 tons, which is around 6%
Yes.
market share. The challenge is that it is vague when, it is vague when it says they will guarantee that the Vinci Coffee Company will get what it needs.
Yes.
What it needs, and it is stated also here,
Yes.
screen 18 and above.
Yes.
Screen 18, by screen 18, they mean the big beans. And so coffee grading happens in bean size.
Yes.
So you have the big beans, we call them screen 18, the medium beans, we call them screen 15,
Yes.
the small ones, we call them screen 12.
Yes.
On screen 18, if you go into Arabicas, we call them double A's.
Yes.
Then after that, you have the A, B's, and the single A's. So screen 18 is the top grades. And this is about 20% of the crop, of the entire crop. Now, for the Vinci Coffee Company, to satisfy their 60,000 ton need
Yes.
of this top grade, can take a whole year. It will take a very long time. And in this time, what will the other exporters be doing?
Exactly.
Yes, because if the law is implemented and the MOU implemented as it says, then these guys we will only be able to export after these guys have had what they want.
Have gotten what they want.
Yes.
So, as the Uganda Coffee Federation, are there any measures you're putting in place to ask for more accountability from the government in regard to this contract, or ask them to revise the laws? Have you shared your concerns with them? Is there something that you're doing about it? Because a number of legislatures, MPs, are even threatening to sue the government for this contract. So what is the Uganda Coffee Federation doing about it?
Look, really what we wish to do is constructive engagement with the government. I hope they are willing to do that. This meeting there is a meeting coming up with the Parliamentary Committee on Trade.
Okay.
And they have invited some of our members and ourselves. So that engagement will be helpful.
All right.
Of course, the fact that it is coming after the fact is where probably a lot of backlash is coming from.
Exactly, and it's leaving a bit of a bitter taste in people's mouths.
Yes, yeah. But the lack of consultation earlier was really not very smart, because coffee is one of the most organized sectors in this country.
Yes.
The commodity sectors that are really, really well organized. If you look at maize,
yes,
it's not as organized as coffee. Look at cocoa, it's not as organized as coffee. In fact, cocoa is coming under problem. It's Sim.
Yes.
So coffee is very, very, very well organized. There's very good institutional memory that has been built up over the years, right from the old UCMB to now the UCD, which was set up in 1994. And to have concluded this MOU without consulting especially the UCDA,
yes,
I think that was not very
that
smart.
was error. That was not very smart.
Yeah.
So what are you hoping to achieve with this engagement with government?
We hope to make people understand that really, I will start from the rationale behind the MOU,
yes,
which is value addition.
Yes.
Value addition is a good thing. It's a really, really good thing. But value addition is more than roast and grind.
Yes.
Or soluble.
Yes.
So value addition can be achieved in different ways. Of course, among those ways is you roast your coffee and export it.
Yes.
As finished product, which is what everybody is fighting to do.
Yes.
But if you look at the dynamics of how coffee consumption happens, I don't know if you are a fan of coffee. Do you?
I do.
When you walk into a cafe.
Yes.
I love coffee. So when I walk into a cafe and somebody is going to make a cup of coffee for me, I like to see the coffee being roasted and ground on site,
yes,
in the cafe and served. Because that aroma, that whole thing comes in and the experience is really nice. And this is what is happening in cafes all across the world. So when you suggest that we roast the coffee, grind it, and then export it, you are denying the consumers what they like.
True.
In these other places. So roasting and grinding, yes, there's a market for this, but it's not the only way to add value. There are many other ways to add value. One of the most expensive coffees in the world is called Kopi Luwak. Luwak is an Indonesian word meaning a civet cat.
Yes.
So these cats in Indonesia, they like the coffee beans. They eat them and they
pass them out,
yeah,
and then they use them.
And then the people who look after them get the coffee, and that coffee is one of the most expensive coffees in the world. Yes. To get it, I have the numbers here. It's $220, between $220 to $1,300 per kilo.
Per kilo.
Yes.
A kilo.
A kilo. That coffee is sold in its green form. It is not roasted.
Yes.
Yes. So roasting is not the only way to add value. You can add value through marketing, through creating stories.
Yes.
Yes. You can also, the other really, really also expensive coffee is Jamaica Blue Mountain.
Yes.
Which is around $45 a kilo.
A kilo.
Yes. Our own Ugandan Mount Elgon coffee,
yes,
Bugisu Double A, is around $7 a kilo. So you can see the difference.
I can see.
Yeah, you can see the difference. It's really, really huge. Then, of course, other ways of adding value, you have logistics. It's a very straight thing.
Yes.
You don't have a railway from here to Mombasa, and therefore the movement is unreliable.
Yes.
You do not have enough capacity, warehousing capacity here in Uganda to handle all these little things like, forklifts. We don't have enough of this. So the whole movement of these coffees and other commodities, of course,
yes,
is not as it could be. To give you an example, Starbucks have one roasting plant in Seattle.
Yes.
At this plant, I think more than half of their cafes across the US,
yes,
receive their coffee from this plant. This is where it is handled because, of course, they want to control quality,
yes,
and all that. But it is on time.
Yes.
Everything is done on time. So logistics adds value as well. Lastly, on-farm yields.
Yes.
On-farm yields by our farmers. Again, I'll give you an example because I'll give an example of Vietnam. Vietnam has the same model as Uganda,
yes.
smallholder farmers. So these smallholder farmers in Vietnam are the same as Uganda, 1 acre, half an acre, 2 acres, you know, backyard coffee like this.
Yes.
And in Vietnam, from 1 hectare, a farmer gets about 3,000 kilos.
Okay.
In Uganda, we get about 900 kilos.
Okay.
So if you can help this farmer boost his yield
yes.
from 900 to 3,000, that is value addition. Yes. So these are the things we want to really share with our colleagues in government.
Yes, and help them understand the impact it's going to cause, the negative impact it's going to cause. Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Robert Biaruhanga. Well, for my last question, I want to ask, what needs to be rectified in this Vinci coffee deal?
I'll give you an example. Premium grades.
Yes.
She states that she wants green 18 and above.
Yes.
But again, in the MOU, she says, well, the MOU says that the coffee that she'll be producing under the soluble umbrella is spray-dried coffee. Now, when you're making soluble coffee, there are 2 ways to make it. There are 2 methods. You use spray drying or freeze drying.
Yes.
Now, freeze drying gives you a little bit of a good coffee, slightly better.
What is the difference between those 2?
Yeah, I'm coming to that.
All right.
Freeze drying, the process of freeze drying gives you something slightly better.
All right.
As you test.
As you test.
Spray drying is just a cheaper way of doing the same thing.
Okay.
And so you get something really, really cheap.
Yeah.
So it's really the law of the law. Yes. And that brings the question, why do you want the premium grades? If you're using a method that uses very low grades.
Yes.
So the things we want to change are such inconsistencies.
Yes.
But also to remove like the clause for 2, which really is not good for everybody.
Exactly.
And yeah, so we hope to engage
and hope that is, you know, revised and hopefully maybe even scrapped off from the
Yes,
MOU.
if it can be scrapped off, that would be wonderful. But we also want to maintain the investment. If the investor can maintain the interest, that would be the best outcome.
Okay, because it helps everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. So your closing remarks, sir.
I think we have come a long way in the coffee industry. We have come a very, very long way. There is what somebody referred to as the doctrine of public trust.
Yes.
And my really closing comment is that let us try and uphold this and achieve something that will help us protect the gains we have already made.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And just a few details here. Well, the latest data from the Uganda Coffee Development Authority shows that farmers exported 6.49 million, and that is 60 kilogram bags of coffee for the 2020-2021 season, as you had earlier shared, compared to the 5.36 million 60 kilogram bags in the 2019-2020 season. Well, the farmers earned up to $512.22 million US. Now, coffee is one of the leading exports of Uganda, and we are trying, or rather Uganda Coffee Federation and all the stakeholders at hand are trying to keep the benefits and all the interest and all the work they have put in place to bring the country to this place in place, to keep it in place, to put you understand what I mean. Well, that is all I had for you on this segment of the Twitter Jabs, but the conversation does continue on our social media, and that is across all platforms on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And also we'll be keeping you updated on this conversation and what is being taken and what is being done in place. And also later when the legislators and the stakeholders meet again with government to deliberate on this, we'll also keep you updated and bring you all details on that. Keep watching Sunrise at Sea because we have more lined up for you.